I distinctly remember moments of my mother giving us something to eat, but her not having anything to eat. Like I remember that, and so, she was strong, and so I didn't see that for a long time, how strong she was, but she was so strong. Dealing with her bipolar, I had to protect her a lot. So I grew up very quickly in middle school, being like almost switching roles and being the parent. My first marriage was rough. Shortly after we had our son Ryan, we came to a point where we just realized it wasn't going to work. And so it was time. It was more healthy for us to co-parent Ryan separately than together. At this time in my life, I also found out I couldn't have any more children. There was a good 4 months of my life where I didn't really care about anyone other than Ryan, and I did whatever I wanted to. And all I wanted my whole entire life was to be a mom and to have a family, and all that was broken within 3 months. Mom was diagnosed with cancer breast cancer the first time, and so I was living back with her, helping take care of her. Well, it was not shortly long after that where I got sick, and we found out that I had a part of my heart that didn't work, so I ended up having to have a pacemaker. And then within 2 years, I had 3 strokes, and so I had to relearn how to walk at one point. And during that 2 years, my mother fought a second time with breast cancer and lost the battle. When my mother was sick the second time, she was in the hospital, and she's like, "What's that smile?" And I said, I'm texting this guy. We texted on and off for about a year, and it was toward the end of that first year that my mom saw the smile, and she's like, "That's more than just a texting relationship." And so she looked at me and she said, "You don't want to end up where I am at the end of my life without following through with that." And so 2 days later, I ended up meeting him face to face, and we've been happily married for 3 years. So we got married, we're happy. Knowing that I couldn't have children, we were looking into adoption agencies. We met with them, we had meetings, we were on the road to figuring out adoption because we knew that both of us wanted a bigger family. It was within that time frame that I got a phone call from my brother saying that my sister-in-law was headed to the hospital. And he needed help with the children. So I went and picked up the kids. Within an hour, we got a phone call that my sister-in-law didn't make it. So I got the phone call that Mindy had passed. I'm staring at her 3 children. She had a daughter and 2 sons. The oldest one has some challenges. He has Asperger's, and so I instantly thought, how am I going to tell them? I was staring at those 3 beautiful faces, not knowing that God had a bigger plan. And those 3 babies, along with our son Ryan, are now our whole world. We are raising my sister-in-law's children, and it's definitely not without its challenges. Each day there is still a different piece of the trauma to work through, but we're doing it. I have learned over the years that for me to sustain my faith and for me to be reminded daily that God is still there, is to wake up early, even though I'm not a morning person, and I have to read some scriptures. I just dive in, and it could be 5 minutes before the little ones wake up. It could be, 30 minutes, but I dive in. And on top of that, we have joined, both my husband and I have joined a small group that we meet weekly, and they are just wonderful. It's such a powerful thing now, bringing the kids into church. Our son has been raised in church. He's almost 13 now, so he's for his whole entire life we've been coming to PCC. But the other three is such a powerful thing, because they would come on weekend sleepovers, but now just seeing them, and Maddie is talking about wanting to get baptized, and Joshy with his Asperger's, no matter what day, no matter what time, no matter where he is, he'll just start praying. He'll just start praying out loud, and just randomly out of the blue. We haven't been in the church building since the beginning of COVID, but we worship at home, and so our living room has become the big room of church. And so I treat it as it is, I'm at church, and so my hands are raised, and it's because that's how I want to experience God, and I'm always in awe. I think one of the biggest ways that I feel God is through music. And so when I'm in it, there are some moments I am just sobbing. And then there's other moments I'm just so filled with awe that he chooses me, and I get to worship. Like, I get to worship the God who created everything. Like, I can't fathom that. I just can't. And so that's another thing I hold on to when I'm overwhelmed during the daytime with the kids, or it's just a sad moment. I hold on to that I am chosen, that I am loved, that I get to honor and glorify Him. Like, that's just, it's overwhelming, and it's so wonderful. And it's just another moment that reminds me that God is here, and that no matter what trauma you go through, it's still, there's still good, and there's still joy. And those are the moments that just take my breath away. I am Jennifer Butler, and I am just one.